Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced, blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clews.
Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter for, let's get this right, for Monday, August 2nd, 2021, our 21st episode, our 21st time being together, sharing our coffee, sharing our thoughts, sharing our hopes and dreams. So welcome, and at the very top, let me once again thank you for all the emails, more and more every day, and I love them, and I appreciate them. What you say is what determines what I say, okay? And what I try to do to make sure that the Offshore Club, your club, provides you with the kind of services and benefits and enjoyment and information that means the most to you as you contemplate making your move offshore, okay? So this is a big moment today, because I have a something new for you, which I know you love. Let me reach down and get it, okay? Look what this is. This is coffee. This is Honduran coffee, all right? And what I'm going to do is share the moment with you by opening it up with you, okay? I haven't even opened it yet. Look, I haven't even opened it yet. But I know it's great because it is coffee from Legacy of Hope Coffee. Those of you who were with me last week, remember I interviewed Colin and Becca down in Honduras, where they make this delicious, sweet, succulent Honduran coffee that we give away from time to time on Coffee with Carib Carter, and which you can buy through Offshore Club, your Offshore Club, remembering that every penny goes to the Legacy of Hope Foundation, which cares for little children in Honduras. And trust me when I tell you, there are very few little children in the world who need your help more than the impoverished little children of Honduras, who, without your help, may have no hope in life. With your help, have hope anew. Abundant hope, as the Bible tells us, abundant hope. So when you drink your coffee from Legacy of Hope Coffee Foundation, you're helping the kids there. And I'm going to do something special today. Here we go. Here is, get down there, the new dark roast, okay? Last time I gave away a bunch of bags of light roast. Hopefully maybe you were one of them who got it. Well, this time I'm going to give you a chance to get a free bag of the dark roast, okay? I've tasted it before. It's delicious. San Marcos. Nutty, caramel, earthy, dark roast coffee that is just great. And if you're like me, you know, you love that morning coffee, all right? Or now I'm doing this later in the day, so your afternoon coffee. And when you're drinking it, you'll know you're helping those who need it most. So let's do this. I'm going to give this very bag of coffee away, all right? I'm going to put a red check on it. Okay, red check, so you will know this is the actual bag of coffee that I held up right here on Coffee with Carib Carter, okay? When you open the box and get it, if you're the winner of the quiz, okay? What's the quiz? Well, today's quiz is going to be very unique. I am going to give it, this free bag of delicious Honduran coffee, to the first person who emails me a response to the question I'm about to ask, okay? Email me at caribcarter7, number 7, at gmail.com. caribcarter7 at number 7 at gmail.com. And here's the question. And right now, some of you are going to say, yeah, this guy's definitely nuts. But nonetheless, I can't help myself. I enjoy it so much. One of the funniest movies ever made was called The Original In-Laws. I think it was 1979. Peter Falk and Alan Arkin. And so some of you who saw it right now are already laughing to yourselves. Maybe had the funniest 5 minutes I've ever seen in a movie when Peter Falk, who was a crazed CIA agent, took the poor dentist, or Alan Arkin, and grab the movie, folks. Grab it. Seriously, the in-laws. To see down to the imaginary country, neighboring country of Honduras, except it was imaginary, Caribbean country, Tejada, to meet the Generalissimo, okay? General Garcia, who, as soon as he introduced Arkin, who was just nonplussed by everything as it was, Generalissimo said, "I'm glad to see you in my country, and now I want you to say hello to my little friend." Let me get this right here. And he gave the name of his little friend, who he then said, "Hi, how are you? It is good to see you in my country. I am." And that's what you have to tell me. Now, I've got that all with my hand for the rest of Coffee with Carib Carter. I just couldn't help you with myself. My Honduran wife can never stop laughing when I get Senor Pepe to say, "Hello, how are you? Angelita, let me give you a little kiss. See? Hey?" I know, you're saying, yeah, he's certifiably nuts. But watch the movie, and I guarantee you at some point you will do the same thing on your hand just to amuse those around you, because it is such a funny, funny scene. But you get the free coffee. The first person to email me at caribcarter7, numeral 7, at gmail.com with the name of that character of General Garcia's little friend there, his name, okay? And the first person who gets it to me, I will send you free of charge. I'll even pay the shipping, this delicious bag, this very bag right here of coffee, Honduran coffee, with the check on it, okay? And also, don't forget, go back to last week and watch the great interview with Colin and Becca, who was only 2 months away from delivering birth in Honduras, and explained to us last week that actually the medical care she's receiving in Honduras is more attentive than her sister is getting in Chicago. So there we go. So that is the, there you have your quiz. And now let's move quickly along to the remainder of Coffee with Carib Carter today, which may not be quite as entertaining as, I almost said his name, didn't I, as General Garcia's little friend there, but I think you'll find it fairly entertaining. And let me get first to one of the questions. I always like to answer questions, and I have had like 10 or 11 questions this week, emails this week, a lot more emails than that, but specifically about how's the progress on your homecoming at La Ceiba Beach Club, right outside of La Ceiba in Honduras. Let me review it for you, okay? Remember, this was, oddly enough, every week I give you, $1,000 listing Caribbean, and this is one I gave you like 6 months ago, right? And then I liked it so much I bought the home for myself, okay? Kind of like maybe insider trading or something. But the home is right on the beach. Literally, this is not ocean view. We get all that ocean view. And if you have binoculars, it's ocean view. No, this is on the ocean. You walk out the front door, cut across the lawn, and you're on the beach, okay? Whether you want to fish, swim, whatever you want to do. 2 bedroom, 1 bath, beautifully done. Mahogany cabinets, doors, just absolutely, I always say to die for, but better yet to live in. And go out the back door and you're at the swimming pool, the gazebo, the clubhouse, gated community, guards, groundskeepers. So it's the progress report. There was some mildew on one of the doors, outside doors. It's right on the ocean. And some of the tiles, and I think for dollars, a couple of dollars, my wife phoned down on WhatsApp. You keep, with WhatsApp and all nowadays, there really is no separation, and got it all fixed for next to nothing, which is all the more incredible when you realize we only paid $32,000 for the home to begin with. Ocean front. oceanfront home. Okay, beautiful beach. I've showed you pictures before. I won't do it again because somebody was saying, somebody wrote to me and said, how many more times are you going to show us a picture of that place? We're already salivating. Enough. Well, the reason I keep doing this, there's another one very similar to it with the beautiful columns out front. Remember I showed you the columns out front and all the architectural detail right next to it for, I think, $35, okay? These prices are not going to last, okay? These prices are not going to last. Drop me a note if you want to get hold of Chris Barrett, the developer, who builds beautiful homes. Just drop me a note. I will put you in touch. Talk to him directly. Great guy. Some of you may remember, what was it, about 5 weeks ago? We interviewed Chris, the guy with the blonde hair, kind of almost down to his shoulders, looked kind of like an older Jeff Spagoli. Those of you who were fans of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and had kind of the same attitude. Remember, he said, hey, I don't need to make a lot of money on these. I live for the beach life, and I've got the beach life. Now I'm just bringing in neighbors, all right? And so now I want to bring you in as a neighbor, and you'll be one of my neighbors. My wife and I are heading down probably in November, early November, spend the entire winter there. Eventually we'll move there all together. But as I've said to you before, my wife, Angelita, from Honduras, wants to get her American citizenship. You know, she admits it's not what it once was, but with the terrible things were being done to American people now. But she wants, that was her dream as a child, and we're going to make it come true. And then making my dream come true, and what I think is going to eventually be your dream, of living the good life at a great price in Central America, in this case in Honduras, but throughout Central and now South America, if you recall. And you recall I promised you that your Offshore Club was going to expand to offer you more opportunities way south of the border in South America as well as Central America. And I think that's important. And I want to share with you why I think it's so important. One of the great misunderstandings that we have, and it was very interesting. Recently, I was with one of the most brilliant men I know. He owns a company called Amerimetro, and just brain power that dwarfs anything I've ever seen. And he's from Pakistan. And he was saying to me, you know, there's something that I think there's a huge misunderstanding here in the United States, and he's lived in the United States for 40 plus years. But he said, when I go back to see my relatives there and all, he said the idea of third world countries now, the idea of third world countries is really becoming very quickly obsolete, okay? In a few minutes, I'm going to show you some footage, by the way, which is going to make you say, you know, it's really true. He said that modern cities in Pakistan are fairly indistinguishable from modern cities in the U.S., and the small towns are very much like the U.S. was back when the U.S. had all these delightful small towns. Now, you know, I do the Mad Max report every week, which is very critical now, because I'm going to tell you the truth, folks. I hope and pray to God, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that you have your plan B in place, because things are not getting better in this. I don't have to tell you this, you know it. You see the same headlines I do. The taxes, the inflation, and they have the audacity to tell us. Remember a couple of weeks back when everybody said, so wait a second, the gas pump prices are skyrocketing, and remember what President Biden and Powell, head of the Fed, and Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, said, oh no, there's no inflation. Everybody said, well, excuse me, I just went to buy some. No. And so everybody said, and then 2 weeks later or so, they said, okay, maybe a little bit is transitory. That was the word, remember that word, transitory. And about a week or two, they said, okay, maybe that's when it hit 6%. Now, if you go to the websites that really get into detail inflation, folks, it's closer to 15%. Shadow Stats, John Williams, that's what I recommend. Shadow Stats, John Williams, closer to 13 to 15%. And you know it, and you know it. And so that's why when I say about please have your plan B in place, it's not going to get better. The inflation, the printing of all this fiat money is not going to stop. The taxes, every time you turn around, the federal, state, or local government is coming to you with the palm out. Well, we need more money now because the economy got hit hard by COVID. No, as the governor of I think it was South Dakota said, no, the economy didn't get hit hard by COVID. It got hit hard by the Democrat governor's response to COVID, where they just blanket shut everything down, locked down in your home until a year and a half ago. That term was strictly for prisons, but they did it to you. It's not going to get any better. And you saw the Biden regime earlier this week said impose all the new restrictions in every federal building. And thank God the employee unions are standing up saying, you can't do that to these people. They're not animals, okay? And so, but it's where we are. And so when this brilliant man who owns Mayor Metro said to me, you really need to encourage these people you're talking to seriously look offshore. He said, I know you just do Central America and now South America. He said, but even further, because the myth of everything being so backwards offshore, the third world country concept, which, by the way, was created by Sukarno when I was a kid, that's a long time ago. He said, it just is not real now. There's opportunity out there everywhere. And that's really what your Offshore Club is all about. Offshore.club. And that's why you and I get together every Monday, thank God. And I just love it. In order to talk about the opportunities offshore. And one of those opportunities, I just went over one of them. Contact me if you want to become won't you be my neighbor down in La Ceiba Beach Club. And another one I'm going to go over with you now. Now, let me say this, every week we just did our Mad Max report, and I tried to keep it down, but I want you to get your plan B in place. I want you to get, here's another way to get your plan B in place. And, I should say this more often. Asset protection. Okay? Next week, I'm going to try and interview Joel Nagel again. Those of you who remember Joel, I interviewed him a couple months back. He's the nation's #1 asset protection attorney. Okay? Thank God he's also one of the partners of Offshore Club, your Offshore Club. And nobody knows the whole area of asset protection better than Joel. So I'm going to have him on again another week or so to talk with you about asset protection. Let me clear something up here, okay? Again, this goes back to Plan B. Don't think, well, if I have $1 million, I need to protect it. Whatever you have, especially now more than ever, you need to protect your assets, okay? You need to protect your assets, whatever money. Matter of fact, let's say you're one of those people, maybe only has 40, 50, 60, 100,000 in the bank, maybe a little more. You have a home that's worth, you need to protect those assets. We're becoming an incredible litigious society. Violence in this country, up 20%. The violent crime rate in this country since Biden took office. And it doesn't seem they want to crack down the illegal alien invasion. June was the highest month in history. 1.1 million illegal aliens have been apprehended since Biden took office. Apprehended. And they usually say that we only get about 1 of every 5. Look, so your assets have to be protected. I recommend to you, just check it out. nagellaw.com, and he'll give you some free consultation right at the get-go, and then you decide for yourself whether or not you got to protect those assets. I watch it all the time. I make sure my assets are protected from, in my case, principally government, just to be honest with you, principally government. They tell you what's the great line. They go, oh, don't worry, we're only going to tax the wealthy. If you believe that, I have some swampland in New Jersey I can get you a great deal on. Okay. The original tax was supposed to be 2% and only on those making $400,000 or more a year. That was in 1913. How's that worked out for us? I worked in Washington 40 years. They nudge each other and wink when they give you that line about it's only going to tax the wealthy, and suddenly you're the wealthy, okay? And that's at the federal, state, and local levels, folks. So asset protection. We'll try to get Joel on next week. And in the meantime, check out nagellaw.com, and he has some free material he'll send you, and it's really it's worth looking into. It's just worth looking. Yeah, I would say better safe than sorry. I think you agree, okay? And now let's talk about one way of protecting those assets is move them offshore. And so let's go to $1,000 listing Caribbean. All right. I love this part of it. I love this part. And I'll tell you why. You know, we do a lot of work with ECI Development. Mike Cobb is another one of the partners of your Offshore Club. Has developments all over Central America. I think 4 or 5 of them. Belize, Honduras now, very near where I just got my home. Nicaragua, Panama, so throughout the area, gorgeous, the top developments, incredibly well built, beautiful. Grand Pacifica in Nicaragua, check that out. It's GRAN, by the way, Grand Pacifica. Beachfront homes for $130,000, $140,000. It would cost you probably $1.4 million up here in this country. And I'm serious about that. Gorgeous places, right on the beach, and gorgeous white sand beaches. So check that out. But today I want to tell you about, and as I say, I love doing this. A new place I found for you, and you've heard this term over and over. Vivian.com, and I don't get a penny from Vivian.com for this. It's just I like it because it gives you the opportunity to really know what's available to you south of the border. And today I decided, well, let's look in Guatemala. Okay, let's look. I think last week we did Brazil, or I think it was Brazil last week, right? Great place in Brazil. And we've looked in Ecuador. Somebody wrote to me about Ecuador. I sent them some good information there. And remember, these are all incredibly low prices, Homes that up here would cost you an arm and a leg, down there costs next to nothing. But it's not going to last because more and more people, and I hear it every day as president of the Offshore Club, Carter, where should I move? Where should I move? I want to get out of here. I can't take, let me just be honest. What makes it so painful in the U.S. now is that we were so free, and it was the land. I wrote you all an email recently, and those of you who don't get the Gazette, the Offshore Club Gazette, go to offshore.club and sign up for it so you get it every day. And when you do it, I send you a couple emails a week, and this one talked about that the Declaration of Independence tells us that we have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I said in my letter to you all, it's that pursuit of happiness that made America so wonderful, that we did pursue happiness everywhere we went, the spirit of hope and happiness and joy and daring do. It's all gone. It's all gone. It's all gone. And the politicians are doing everything they can, big med, big pharma, big government, teaming up to do everything they can to make sure it never comes back. What does Fauci say? You need to get a vaccination and wear a mask the rest of your life, and don't go out in public. Excuse me, pardon me, can I have my freedom? Can I make the determination about what I wear and where I go? We used to. It was part of the pursuit of happiness, okay? The pursuit of happiness. It's what set us apart. And now, fortunately, you can still pursue it elsewhere. And here's a place to pursue it. And that's why I look on Vivian, as I was saying, to help you find these places. And here's one. Let me tell you. All right, I'm going to do a disclaimer that's almost as usual as you've seen as Pepe here. Oh, no, I just gave it away. So if you've watched this far, you know his name now. So get your email in. Why'd you do that, Senor Carter? I'm sorry, I just blew it. But at any rate, when I tell you about this place, let me give you a disclaimer. because crazy as it may sound, I would not buy this place, okay? You're saying, well, what are you telling us we need to buy something for if you wouldn't buy it? Remember, I don't like water, okay? I've told you all before, I own a home in West Virginia on the Potomac River, on a peninsula in the Potomac River, right? 3 swimming pools in this community that my wife and I own a home in. It's an incredible place. I don't swim. I don't even go on boats. Yesterday, I walked out on the dock and said to my wife, I'm not doing that anymore. What if I fall in? So the one reason I wouldn't buy this place is I'm not a water person, okay? But if you are, and if you're one of those people who is kind of daring do, I would suggest, I was going to say probably mostly if you're young, but I know a lot of people my age, 75 in 1 month, less than a month now. It's August 2nd, my birthday is September 1st. I'm very proud of that. Very few people get to where I am now, and it's been a long journey. But this place is for those who say, hey, I'm a loner. I love being a loner. I love living off the grid, doing things my way, as Frank Sinatra would say. This is lot land for sale in Rio Dulce, Guatemala. Okay? All right? I got to read it to you because it's the only way to describe it. Okay, beautiful, massive lot, 5,060 square yards by whatever. You know, it's huge. It's huge. Waterfront. And here's the part that makes me say, you're going to have to be a person who's pretty independent. Parentheses, the land is accessible only by water. Okay? That water being the Rio Dulce, the Sweet River, which I think is one of the shortest rivers in the world. Beautiful river, gorgeous river. And located right on the riverbank at Rio Dulce, Guatemala, 15 minutes from the Caribbean. Beautiful. I love looking at water. That's why my home in Honduras is on the ocean. High from the riverbank, no flooding possible. Contains not 1 but 2 homes, okay, with 2 verandas on each side. It contains large 2-story home, 2 verandas on each side. This is the home. You can't see it very well. The guy who owns the home is definitely not a photographer. That's very rustic, but very nice. Very rustic, but very nice, okay? It's Vivian.com. When you go to Vivian, I always tell you this, up in the upper right-hand corner is a little box, okay? And you type in this number, okay, 1510. That's it, 1510 in that little box. And it's going to bring you up to this listing. Porch overlooking the river on the 2nd floor, all natural wood floor. Beautifully designed bathroom with stone and wood, thatch roof, separate building. Boathouse also, 20 by 24 feet. 2 bedrooms, kitchen, dining room, lots of windows made with natural wood shutters, very breezy, spacious. Lofts with an open loft style open rooms. It clearly is for a person who loves being in the wilderness, on the water. Fantastic, just fantastic. I really think, and you're right now you're saying, well, yeah, so how much? $1,000 Caribbean lister, $73,000. $73,000. Look, a place like this that just a home alone would cost twice that much in this country, let alone being right on the river, on one of the most beautiful rivers, frankly, in all of Central America. The Rio Dulce, it means sweet river. And $73,000. So, and I'm going to ask our super producer, Brian, to put in, it says it's very near the town, okay, of Rio Dulce as well. And there's a great video by a gentleman named, let me get it right here, okay? I want to get it right because I want to give this guy credit because it really is a super video. I was going to give him credit now, I can't find it, but we're going to put it in here anyway. where a video showing you the town. It's about a 4-minute video, and I urge you just stick with it, watch it all the way through. Lovely, lovely town, everything you could possibly want. Beautiful, quaint, clean, virtually no crime, very nice people. And this gentleman is, his video is going to come up right now. I'm going to pause while Brian inserts that video, okay? Because it's well worth watching. Remember, this is within just a couple miles of where you can buy this home, which you can only get to by boat, on the Rio Dulce.
Hey, Stephen here. So Sabrina and I have finally made it to Guatemala. We are in Rio Dulce. We took the bus early, 5:30 a.m. this morning from San Pedro Sula. We made it across the border and to Morales, which is a very small town just off the highway. We got off the bus in Morales and were quickly shuffled over to a colectivo that they packed us in like sardines, and we took a 45-minute drive slightly north to Rio Dulce. We just got checked into our hotel. We're gonna go for a little walk and kind of explore this little village. We're gonna grab something to eat and take you guys along with us. Let's get going. So we found this little taco stand. It's hard to say no to tacos. I've never had Guatemalan tacos yet. They look amazing. One thing that's different around here is you get bagged water instead of bottled water. It's different. I saw it throughout Mexico. I saw it throughout Honduras. And here it is again in Guatemala. Bagged water. The tacos look awesome. Well, that wraps up a really quick tour of Rio Dulce. Unfortunately, we already have our bus ticket and hotel booked for Flores for tomorrow, so we've got to leave here early to catch that bus and head up north. Rio Dulce is a beautiful village. There's actually a lot to do here, and I didn't know that until we actually got here. We went out for some street tacos and they were fantastic. Like I said earlier, I haven't had tacos since Mexico, so it was nice to try those. Rio Dulce is definitely worth checking out. I'm hoping that I can come back here again and spend some more time. But until then, we're gonna keep pushing forward, and we're gonna be staying in Flores for a few days, and we're gonna be going to Tikal, to the ruins, and give you guys a tour of that. So once we reach Flores, we're gonna calm down for a few days, get some good footage, create some more videos. So until then, we'll see you guys at the next video.
Okay, I am back, and while you were watching the video for that 4 minutes, or 4.5 minutes, it's Stephen Abroad is the name of his video, and we'll also post it in your Gazette, by the way, in your Offshore Gazette, your daily Offshore Club Gazette. Great video, beautiful little town, which, as I say, is very near this home. This is for the adventurous. This is for, to me, I'm just telling you, for me, it's for the adventurous. Somebody likes boating, because you can only get there by boat to your home, but you can get in your boat and also go to town. And as you just saw from Stephen Abroad, have a beautiful, lovely evening, spend the day, spend the weekend. There are gorgeous little hotels in the town there. Rio Dulce de Isabel. Rio Dulce de Isabel. And you just saw it in the video, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous town. Gorgeous, gorgeous town. So there you have it, another opportunity for the good life at a great price in Central America, $73,000. Or if you move and become my neighbor at La Ceiba Beach Club, $35,000. You can buy one of the new homes that the cozy homes that Mike Cobb and ECI Development's making, very near me in La Ceiba. You'll still be my neighbor, thank God. I think those are about $90,000 or so. Beautiful, modern, again, at the beach. So the opportunities are limitless, and the freedom and the joy of going out and being able, again, just to enjoy life to its fullest, okay? Not waiting for those folks up there at the federal, the state, or the local level to come down again. And, you know, it's too bad. Look, it happens. It's life. But it's not a life you have to live. It's not a life you have to live. And that's really what I want to close on today, okay? We always close trying to be motivational, you know, trying to say, you know, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? What is the, how do we make sure that we're living the life that we want to live? And so today I'm going to ask Brian to run one of my favorite videos for you that talks about the fact you get one go around, okay? You get one go around. I said earlier, less than a month, I'll be 75. And those of you who follow me on Carib Carter at Facebook or LinkedIn, you saw this post earlier this week where I talked about the fact that when you get 3/4 of a century, you look back and you say, what did I do that I shouldn't have done, and what should have I done that I didn't do? And you know what? You find the latter far outweighs the former usually, unless maybe you're Al Capone or somebody, I don't know. But yeah, there's some things I wish I hadn't done. There are other things that I wish I had done. Okay, fortunately for me, not a lot, because I kind of was always a fan of Sinatra in my way. So, but I don't want you to do that at all. I don't want you to. Very few of you watching. Yeah, I know most of you are 50 or under. So very few of you watching have reached this point yet. And so, and I often think to myself, you know, I wish somebody old like me had told me what it was like to be old when I was young, so I could measure things out, right? And so that's essentially what I'm doing here. And what you want to do is you want to be able to look back and say, I went for the goal. I grabbed the gusto. And that's what the offshore life is all about, okay? That's what your Offshore Club is all about. It is knowing that you went for it. You did it. You know, you only have one life. You only have one life. And let me play for you, again, our super producer, Brian, is going to insert a video. It's again a short video that really puts that whole philosophy in perspective for you. Then I'll be right back to say goodbye. So take a look at this. I think you're going to like it.
All this, like, people want to be all positive, all this positive talk, it doesn't work if it's a lot. Self-talk without real work is just a lie. So my self-talk is like no one else's self-talk. It changes all the time. But let's say for shits and giggles, I'm training for a 100-mile race. And I get to mile 50 and I feel like shit. And like everybody else, my mind gets soft. Why? Because I'm human. I'm not some damn, hybrid creature that was formed from the heavens above. No, not. Human. I suffer, I don't like it, I'm uncomfortable, I don't like it. So my mind starts to get weak and we start to forget about how badass we are. So basically what I do here is you have to make sure that your mind doesn't become spastic. When it's suffering, when it's in pain, all it wants to do is find the easy way out, which is usually quit. If you quit, the pain goes away immediately. You gotta give yourself enough energy and fuel in your mind to stay just a little bit longer so you can talk yourself into staying for the whole thing. And this is how it works. Most of us never start anything cold. If you're gonna go to college, you gotta study your ass off. If you wanna run a 100-mile race, a marathon, if you wanna go be Mr. Olympia, if you wanna go be a scientist, in that moment when we need self-talk, when we're failing and we're in our worst spot possible, we forget the back end. Oh, my fault, the front end. All the build up to where we're at today. We forget how much work we put in. We forget that we put years, maybe not into making these dials, but to getting where you're at today. Become this person, to be in a position to make this money, or whatever you want to make, whatever you want to do in your life. We forget that. We forget that journey on what it took for us to get in this moment to make the right decision. So that's my self-talk is this. Okay, I want to get out of here, man. I'm done. Then I remember this. You ran 2,000 miles training to be in this moment right now. We forget that. We forget the 3 o'clock in the morning runs or getting up early for work or whatever you're doing. We forget all that. In that moment of suffering, I remind myself, I only have 50 more miles. I put in 6 months of training. So what I do, my self-talk is basically going back down memory lane of all those days I ran the rain or I had to study real late at night and I didn't want to do it, but I did it to get here. I wanted to get here. Now you're here and now you want to quit? If you haven't put in any hard work to reflect on, you're fucked. All this like people want to be all positive, all this positive talk, it doesn't work if it's a lie. Like if you didn't study for your big exam and you go into it saying, I'm going to pass it, no, you're not. That self-talk is not going to work. Self-talk without real work is just a lie. So my self-talk is me reminiscing back on the struggle to get to this moment. And that tells me we're not quitting today. Not today.
Who you are depends entirely on your influences and the level of effort that is put into forging yourself into what you desire to be.
When we come across something that's very hard and we try it once or maybe twice, we then say, we're done, we can't do it anymore. Before you say something's impossible, do it and do it and do it to a level that people think that you might be crazy until you say it's impossible.
You don't achieve worthwhile goals quickly or easily. They take time. They take struggle. They take relentless pursuit day in and day out. That's what it takes. I get worn down. Of course, I get frustrated with stuff. Of course, things don't always go my way. And of course, I come up short sometimes. Of course. But what do I do when those things happen? I keep going. It's really that simple. I put one foot in front of the other. I move forward another inch, another centimeter. I write one more sentence. I place one more brick on the wall. I gut through one more workout. I step out onto the mat one more time. Because worn down isn't beaten. And frustration is not gonna kill me. And the things that don't go my way, they just turn into targets that I'm going to attack harder. And when I do come up short, it's okay, because I just learned one more thing that's going to get me over the top. So at those moments, at those low points, those times when it seems that defeat is starting to get the upper hand, you just need to keep going. Keep going. Just keep going. And don't stop regardless of what you are hit with. Because if you don't stop yourself, then nothing else can, and nothing else will.
The second you think that you've overcome it, you climbed Everest, you're on that last hold, and life will say, not today. And it'll push you down. Look at yourself, man. Look at yourself. What am I going to do today to change what I see in this mirror? If you're not real and raw with who you are, nothing's going to change. Once you realize it, and you have to realize it, you got to call yourself out. Addressing it is very small. It doesn't go from like one morning I'm this way, next morning I wake up and presto, 5 steps to greatness. No, it ain't that, brother. How you address it is you face it. You face it every day. You face it every single day of your life. It's patience. Accepting who you are right now. I'm fat. I don't like myself. Accepting the fact that if you lose 3 or 4 pounds, that's a huge accomplishment. You have to live in your own world. You can't judge yourself off of the so-called competition that we have made up in our mind. The things that how people look, how people act, how smart someone is. This is a race that you run completely alone.
I choose to keep going forward, but you get to a spot in that race where you don't know what to do. And that's when you find out what you're made of.
Focus on the target, your vision gets blurry, and so you lose track of the long-term goal or the long-range target. So that's why we focus on our front sight, because we can keep that little thing that's right in front, 3 feet in front of us on our rifle. You can keep that in focus. So that's what you focus on. And every once in a while, if you start that, maybe that gets a little blurry, well, then you look at your long-term targeting, because that daily grind will beat you down too. And if the daily grind beating you down, and then you forget what your goal was in the first place. But so every once in a while, yeah, you got to look up at your long-term goal and say, I want to be doing this or achieve that or whatever.
Wow, that's good, and that's inspiring. That's inspiring, and it's all true. It's all true. This is grab it all. Just grab it all. Never ever. The one line I love there. I wrote it down. I like it so much. You can have. Let me get it right. Okay. You can have fears, but never let your fears have you. Okay. So if you have the slightest inkling of living the good life at a great price offshore, enjoying the freedom that comes with it, the freshness of starting life anew in an area that is just now, in Central or South America, and these communities that we always talk about, that are open and expanding instead of this pressure closing down on people. Nobody needs that. This is your chance to do it. Just do it. And even if you're my age, just do it, okay? Just go ahead and do it. Because you know what? Chances are you're going to live another 10 years at least, maybe more. I mean, look at Clint Eastwood. I think he's 90-something now. And you don't want to look back when you're 90 and say, geez, I wish I had done more when I was 70 and I hadn't wasted that 20 years worrying about so much about being too old. You're not too old. You are not too old. You are not too old. Go for it. If you're young, go for it now and keep going for it for the rest of your life. And that's my final message to you today. Let's, as I always say, as I always tell you, and as a lot of you I know from your wonderful emails to caribcarter7@gmail.com, I always tell you to do this, and I know you are. Let's do this thing. See you next week.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us at the Offshore Club. For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Carib Carter, visit www.offshore.club today. www.offshore.club. That's www.offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club.